Hello, everybody. It is I, Rusev from Rusev Day, and I'm here in the Man Cave Chronicles chatting with Elias about, my great movie, Other Versions of You, about my new comic book coming around WrestleMania. Stay tuned. It's a great chat. See you later.
Welcome to another episode of the Man Cave Chronicles.
Welcome to the party, pal!
You're my boy, Blue!
Yo, Adrian!
A podcast with interviews of amazing guests from the world of pop culture.
Oh, yeah!
TV.
Nice!
Movies.
Oh, I love the movies!
Comedy and more. From deep inside the Man Cave, your host, Elias.
Rusev, welcome to the cave.
What's going on, man?
How are you, man? What's new with you?
Fantastic. Well, it is I, Rusev from Rusev Day.
That's right.
To stop by and chit-chat for a little bit to see what's going on.
Yeah, so, like I said, the wrestling fans know you as Rusev. You're a three-time WWE U.S. champion. You started wrestling, around mid-2000s, and you recently just started a movie called Another Version of You, and we'll talk about that. But let's get to know a little more about Rusev. Where are you originally from, my friend?
Born and raised in Plovdiv, Bulgaria. Plovdiv is the sixth oldest city in the world, by the way.
Wow.
And you can Google that. That's actually a fact. Yeah, that's right. Born and raised there. I did, growing up, I did a whole bunch of sports, did amateur wrestling, did rowing for a while, did some basketball, and I always wanted to come to the United States of America. And here I am, once again.
So when you were a kid growing up in Bulgaria, did you know you wanted to get into the wrestling world?
So I think I was about 6 or 7 years old. Then I saw a tape of, I've seen a couple of movies as well of Hulk Hogan. And then I saw him actually where he was doing his wrestling. And I just fell in love with it right away. I was just so drawn by Hulk Hogan and his charisma that I fell in love with wrestling, and I wanted to become a wrestler just like him, and I wanted to go to America.
Oh, wow. How old were you when you decided to come to the U.S.?
Well, so I had always had a feeling since I was a kid, that I was going to go to the United States of America. That's why I even started learning English early on. I was very interested in English, and then I started playing video games, and the English started coming more and more, and all the movies and everything watching. And then I just had that feeling that I'm going to go, my destiny. I have to go to the United States. I knew it in my heart. I knew it in my mind. And finally, I was 19, and I was able to, leave Bulgaria and come here.
Oh, wow. Now, you mentioned you did rowing and powerlifting. Tell us about that. I mean, rowing sounds like it's an exciting sport.
Well, no, it's not exciting. It's really tough, though. There's nothing exciting. It's just a bunch of dudes or, women or just rowing, doing the same repetitive motion for about 6 to 7 minutes, and which they end up really exhausted near death experience. So I don't know if that's actually entertaining to watch.
So
what my mom and my dad did. That's why I followed.
Okay, I was going to ask you, how did you get involved with that? How did you?
Yeah, my mom was she was a 2-time world champion, second world champion. My dad did rowing as well, and I just wanted to follow the family tradition and see if it's going to work out for me. And I really had fun with it. I graduated sports school with rowing, so
wow,
that was my profession.
Yeah. So when you came to the U.S., how did you start in the wrestling world? What was the first steps that you took?
So I once I came eventually to California, I was living here, working a whole bunch of jobs, and I saw a pay-per-view in San Diego. It was the Great American Bash. And I was like, oh, I'll make that drive. So I hopped in the car, went and watched the pay-per-view. And on the way out, I saw a flyer on my car. It says wrestling school. It was somewhere in San Diego. I was like, I don't care. I'll make the drive. It's not a problem for me. But then the more I looked through the website, I found a school in California. About 2 hours, an hour and a half away from me in the Valley. And I signed up, called Rick Drazen. He told me, come Thursday, bring a towel and a bottle of water, and we're going to start learning.
Oh, interesting. How did that go the first time you stepped in that ring?
Oh, I loved it. I was so excited. It was, And imagine this ring is probably 14 by 14. It's a backyard ring.
Yeah.
And it's really bouncy. So, but to me, it didn't matter. Like I'm inside the ring. I was like actually amazed they let me get in the ring. I was really honored by that. And we started doing rolls and like little bumps and stuff like that. And I just loved it. Like I didn't care. It was like probably it's in the valley in California. That's probably 110 degrees. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh wow.
Sun blazing. The mat, it's a pool cover. So that thing is like it as soon as you touch it, it burns you. That's how hot it is. I did not care. I loved it.
I can imagine. I can just imagine. Hey, I was told to ask you about Knox Pro South.
Yeah.
What?
So from there, so after Rick Drazen, I was with him for about 6 months, and then I felt like, okay, I felt like not reach my potential, but I wanted to experience more. I wanted to learn more stuff. So then Rikishi, Gangrel back then, and Black Pearl, they opened up Knox Pro. And I decided to switch schools, and I was their first student, actually, when they first opened school.
Oh, jeez. Now you train. How long did you train with them for?
So I was with them probably for about a year or two, maybe 2 years, something like that. And then Rikishi told me that, he thinks I'm ready, and he sent me to a tryout in WWE. It was 2010 SummerSlam.
Okay.
He made the call. He sent me for a tryout. They was looking for luchadors. I remember Staples Center, Los Angeles. But, I was there, and we had a tryout. I almost got in a fight with a guy, but I guess,
geez.
They liked what I did. And, Johnny Ace found me later. He offered me a contract.
Mm. Do you, who was your first match that you stepped in the ring with?
Who was my first match? Well, practice match or the show match?
I guess both.
Well, show match was in San Diego for when I first was training with Rick Drazen. I went to New Wave Pro Wrestling, and it was me versus Ariel Star. And we worked during the match. I dropped a big elbow, and the referee goes down and goes 1, 2, 3, and I won. I was like, what? So the guy forgot to kick out, or I dropped my elbow so hard that he did not want to kick out. I don't know what happened, but as far as I know, I won the match, and I was really excited for it. So that was my first experience.
Oh, wow. And I remember watching you the first time you appeared on WWE Raw, and I loved the way you came out. You just looked like a villain from the 80s. Was that like your goal to come out looking like that?
Well, I'm a big fan of those movies. My persona was built around those movies. My character inspirations was built around movies, fighting movies, karate movies from the 80s and early 90s. So, yeah, that was my goal.
Yeah. Now, was that like your idea first? Did you try to pitch that, or was that more like the back end people?
Yeah, so it was very interesting. I was in developmental, and I broke my neck, and then I came back and started rehabbing, trying to come back, and came back finally eventually. And Bill DeMar was like, you have 3 months to show me what you got, otherwise we're gonna have to let you go. And that was right before Christmas break, and I was like, man, this is a serious thing. And I was like, what am I gonna do? I got to do something. I know my work is good. So all I did was I changed my gear, went back and watched my favorite movie, Kickboxer. I watched that. Awesome. My favorite bad guy, Tong Po, my favorite bad guy of all time. Made the same trunks like he did. Put my hands up like Muay Thai style. Took my boots off. Started taping my ankles. Next thing you know, I started doing shows in NXT, like live events, then did a little bit on TV, and I got very blessed and very lucky that Triple H was there at one of our tapings. And he saw me. He was like, who's that kid? And next thing you know, I was on Raw.
Wow. Now, how do you feel like your character has evolved the last few years?
It has evolved, definitely, by far. And I like that it has evolved because I always knew that I'm not that one-dimensional, just a guy from the 80s, bad guy. I knew I had personality. And I wanted to show that personality, either a good guy or a bad guy. And I'm glad that I had to show that I had the opportunity.
Yeah. So what do you think has been your favorite moment in WWE so far?
My favorite moment was probably me got to flex with probably with Hulk.
I remember that. Well, you met your idol.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny,
I
like,
not just met him, I got to like we got to be on the same team, and we got to do the whole flexing routine. He's like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I was 6 years old when I saw you, and I wanted to be like you, and now I got to do what with you
yeah.
what I wanted to become, and that's just like mind blowing. That's
Yeah.
only Jesus can do that. Only God can achieve that. So it's just
Did
boy,
you
I'm like getting goosebumps.
when you first met him? Did you tell him that you were 6 years old in Bulgaria? And you watched him on wrestling, and you knew that's what you wanted to go do.
I still tell him every day.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I tell him that. Yeah, because I thank him every time.
Yeah.
Because without him, I don't know, I wouldn't have done that. I don't know what I would have been doing.
What's one thing you would give somebody advice for if if they told you, they meet you like, I want to get into the wrestling business? What do you tell them?
You got to go full in. Either all in or all out. There's no in between, or there's no half-assing it, unless you want to be just an independent wrestler, which is great. I love independent wrestler. I think it's great, but that's what can separate you. It's going to the gym, working on your promos, trying to get better, and not get satisfied by just working every Saturday, Sunday for $20 in front of 35, 50 people.
Yeah. So, you mentioned earlier Hogan. Hogan went into the movie business as well. It also has like The Rock and a few other wrestlers. And now you just recently started a movie called Another Version of You. How did you get approached for this movie?
I got approached by David Perry, which is CJ's brother, and he invited us to be executive producers and also be a part of the movie, as a cast. And we looked through the script. We thought it was amazing. We knew Mosky from before, and we knew David as he's a great producer as well. So it was a no-brainer. We read it and we loved it. I actually had a lot more scenes, but I guess maybe we'll get to that later about how the same David Perry cut two of my favorite scenes in the movie. But anyways, we'll get to that.
Yeah. So who you play? Kirill? Is that how you pronounce the name? Kirill. Kirill. How would you describe him?
Well, Kirill, he's a very simple guy. He just wants to work. He just wants to finish work, go hit the gym, and get a lot of protein, eat a lot of meat. Also happened to be, the ex-boyfriend of,
Gwyneth,
CJ.
right?
So of Gwyneth. So there's a little conflict there because now there's Dixie over there trying to scoop around, and we have a little altercation, I should say. But it's really funny. It's really funny.
When you read the script, like, how did you prepare for the role? What kind of research did you do?
I just said, Miro, you have to be you.
So you would
because that's what I do.
Yeah. So would you say like this character is like 80% you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
all I have to do. I gotta look mad, which I do all the time.
Yeah.
I do love, eating and playing video games, and of course, if my ex is there and now he's with somebody else, I mean,
Yeah.
what am I not just gonna be happy about it? So, it was pretty much myself. But I love just the experience and the opportunity to perform in a movie like this. It was mind blowing.
Yeah. Do you think because you worked in the entertainment industry for like the World Wrestling Entertainment, stuff like that, do you think that helped you in the acting world so far?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. It's just that I feel a lot more comfortable in front of a camera and talking, and even through my WWE development, just through my career, you can see how my speaking ability became better and better. And it's just because of the years in front of the camera, and also now that I do acting classes and trying to become a better actor. I hope I'll get better.
How do you fit, like, between the traveling with WWE and then, the acting and everything? Like, how do you fit the schedule to even do acting classes?
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
We still do. We travel full time, and we get to prepare on the road. Come home, do some extra rehearsals, then go to class on Thursday. Be there for 5 or 6 hours, and then from there, usually I leave and I go to Knox Pro because I still quite a few times go to teach there. The young kids trying to become professional wrestlers and accomplish their dreams. I do that after that. So Thursday is a really busy day for me.
Yeah. So now in the movie, you also worked with a few people like Eddie George, ex-football player. He was also in Ballers. You mentioned C.J. Perry. You had Sarah Antonio, Alan Powell. Like, how was it working with a cast like that?
Oh, they were fantastic. They were very supportive, especially because, they had rehearsals in my house when CJ was getting ready for her role. So they got to come over and I got to talk to them and, pick their brain. And they were, even on set when we got a few scenes together, they were always very encouraging and trying to help out. I'm very, very thankful for all their help because none of them needed to do that. They were just so nice.
Yeah. So now, is your goal to keep continuing acting in movies and TV?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my goal always going to be wrestling. My number one priority is always going to be wrestling for now. Yeah. But I just love acting. I love performing, in front of the camera. I love pretending to be somebody else in different scenes. I just love this whole experience.
So you mentioned earlier, you love the movies, you love the 80s movies. I got a fun question for you. If you could go back in the 80s to play one villain, what movie would it be and why? And then if you could play one good guy, who would it be and why?
Oh, man, come on. You can't do that to me. You can. There's so many. I mean, Jesus, I don't know. A good guy, a bad guy. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you mentioned Kickboxer.
Yeah, well, to me personally, he is definitely my all-time favorite bad guy of all time.
Yeah.
Like, number one is Tangpo. Number two is Chung Lee from Bloodsport. And number three, I don't know who he was. But yeah, those two guys are definitely my top two, and they can never be moved. And maybe number three is Thanos, because he's a great bad guy.
Yeah. Did you watch the sequel of Kickboxer when Van Damme came back?
I did, man, and I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. And I knew I shouldn't have. And I don't know why I did. I was so mad at myself.
I know.
Then I think I actually watched 3 as well, which is even, oof.
Yeah.
But hey, kudos to Batista. I'm glad that he got to do a little bit more acting.
That's right. That's right. So, what do you have any other projects that you're working on that you could tell the listeners about?
Yeah, well, we have the comic book coming, around WrestleMania time. That's really exciting. I'm really, really, really stoked about it. CJ was really stoked about it. She was always really excited about it. It was her dream, so finally for her to achieve that, that's amazing. Also, I'm in the whole book, so everybody that wants to, follow through, I don't know the name yet because they keep changing it. I'm not exactly aware. It was a Dark Country, then it was something else, but I'll let everybody know what the name is. But yes, I'm going to be a big role. CJ is going to have a huge role in that. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be vampires, werewolves. It's going to be a whole bunch of cool shenanigans, some wrestling as well. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting.
How can the listeners find out about your comic book release?
So you can follow always, me on Rusev IG on Twitter. I mean, on Instagram. I apologize. So Instagram, Rusev IG. Twitter is Rusev BUL. And also, CJ, she's got Delana WWE or whatever she has. I don't even know what she has anymore.
So yeah,
she's got them all, I'm sure.
So she'll be talking about that with the comic book on her social media as well. Is every day Rusev Day for you or what?
Oh, of course every day is Rusev Day, man. I told you I'm living my dream. Every day is Rusev Day, and nobody can convince me otherwise. They may try to break you down, but at the end of the day, we're gonna stay tall on the greatest day of them all, my friend, which is Rusev Day.
That's right. And lastly, is there a quote that you live by, or is that it right there you just said?
Wait, what is it?
Is there a quote that you live by every day with?
Well, I would say that. Just I crush it every day on Rusev Day. That's a good quote.
There you go. Rusev, this was fun. Thank you for coming on.
Of course, anytime.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap, everybody. That's a wrap.
Thanks for listening to the Man Cave Chronicles podcast.
I finally get my man cave.
You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the MCC Podcast and our website, themccpodcast.com. Until next time.